Okay. Yay. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Jenks Center. If you're new to the Jenks, we are located in Winchester, Massachusetts, and you have arrived at our virtual programming that comes to you from a grant supplied to us from the Cummings Foundation. Okay. All right, so just a little bit of housekeeping. We will be recording, as you heard, this evening. And if you don't want to appear in the recording, you could turn off your camera at this point. You may receive a survey online in an email, and it is part of our requirements for the grant. So we do appreciate it if people take the time to fill that out. That brings us to our programming in August. We have budget decorating tips and tricks with Stacy Martin. She's our professional interior designer. That's going to be on August 14th between 2 and 3 o'clock. Please sign up early. We have Eleanor Roosevelt, the First Lady of the World. This is a one-person show written and performed by Cheryl Fay. She's an actress. She did go to Emerson College. She received a BFA from there. And she has 11 one-woman shows at the moment. So we're going to have her on August 17th. Then we have Stretching for Daily Maintenance workshop with John Sayep. People should be familiar with his name. He's been working with us for about a year. He is an acupuncturist. He specializes in acupressure. What will you gain from coming to this workshop? And it is virtual, online. It will help increase your flexibility. He'll help us with our range of motion, performance in our physical activities. It increases blood flow to the muscles, improves posture, which we probably all could use, helps to heal and prevent back pain. And it's great for stress relief and can calm your mind. So please join us. That's August 24th. That is filling up. We have Feng Shui Your Space with Mei Hung. And if you're not familiar with Feng Shui, it means wind and water. And it is a way of bringing the natural world into your home, balancing the energy. And it does help you gain more energy in your life. So she will be joining us on August 31st. And that's at 7 o'clock. That's virtual. All of the programming is virtual this month. And then I want to thank the Cummings Foundation for, again, giving us an amazing opportunity. We've received a grant for 10 years for our evening and weekend programming. I also want to thank Joe Blanchard for helping sponsor this evening too. So that brings us to tonight, Composer's Corner with Bonnie MacLeod. We are so pleased to have you this evening, Bonnie. We're going to have Andrew in a moment join you. He's the interviewer. As most of you know, he is my husband, fantastic husband.
He's the fantastic husband.
Yes, he's his friend now. He's fantastic. He is just an amazing person and really a pleasure to be with. So Bonnie is just an amazing, accomplished pianist, entertainer, singer, and composer. Bonnie combines a fascinating and eclectic array of artistic influences in her performances, and she is a joy too to be with and extremely funny. And her gifts have brought her around the world, including Europe, Eastern Europe, Scandinavia, North Africa. She performed regularly at the nightclubs in New York City, Boston, on cruise ships as well. Sounds like quite the life, wow. And you can hear her music on Amazon, Spotify, TikTok, Apple Music, Pandora, Dream Farm Radio, and more. And she has played at assisted living facilities in and around Boston as well, including Cornerstone Living in Canton and Maplewood in Weston. So we are so pleased that you're here this evening. And I am going to turn the screen over to Andrew and Bonnie.
Hi.
Hi, Bob.
Thank you, Hillary.
Now, this is a unique night because Bonnie is in the house. Bonnie is
I'm
here
in the house.
We're very excited to have her in the house. And so, and usually that's not the case. We usually have people remote, but it's a new age, and hopefully this COVID thing will be behind us shortly. So Bonnie's right next to the next room, and we couldn't figure out a way to put us both on the front of the same microphone. So I'm still here as if I'm remote, but this is going to work fine, I think. We're going to love it tonight. I met Bonnie, I don't know, maybe about, 2013 maybe? I'm trying to remember when we met, but it was back in BACA, this Boston Amateur Cabaret Association. And she is just an amazing performer. By the way, we might even be able to twist her arm and get her to do a little cabaret tonight too, because she sings the American Songbook, and she is amazing. And she was very kind to jointly do something with me. We would play at the Club Cafe downtown in Boston, and she would do her cabaret stuff. And then during her intermissions, I would play classical. And it was just a wonderful experience for me. And I guess she might have gotten something out of it too, but I played beautiful pieces like WC's Reflet Done Low and had a wonderful appreciative audience. But I got to also spend time just listening to her wonderful performances. And so before we start though, I thought I'd get into a little bit of who Bonnie is. So Bonnie, you had a really interesting story about growing up, because most people, when you grow up, you get piano lessons, your parents are saying, study, study, study. Your teacher's saying, you got to do more studying. You basically, most children are kind of reticent to be on the piano. They'll try to do anything else except be on the piano. You had kind of the opposite story. So tell us about your story when you were a little girl. What would go on in your household?
Well, it was given to the piano we had was kind of a well-used crappy piano. I don't know how else,
for lack of a better word.
Yes, it was a Star, STARR. Yes, I'm from Boston. And it was given to a relative of my grandmother. I'm not sure who, but he gave it to my dad, and he ended up putting it in the same room as the television down in the den. So, everybody always asks me, hey, did your parents make you, practice hours and hours? And I always say, no, I was always being kicked off the piano because it was like, get off the piano. I want to watch the baseball game. Get off the piano. Or, my brother's room was right next door to the den. And, shut up, I'm trying to sleep. And so, I didn't play as much as I really wanted to.
That is amazing, because you are amazing on the piano. And so one of the things that we'll highlight tonight, of course, is your composing. And, when I knew you, I basically knew you when you were, doing the cabaret stuff, but I had no idea that you were doing so much composing. I did get a private CD from you some years ago with the Charlie Chaplin rag and about 8 or 9 other songs. And I would love to at some point highlight those with you. But for now, I think we're just going to play. You wrote during the COVID period about 20 songs, I believe. And in fact, there's so many songs, it's not on one CD. So one of the things I want to show people is, let me just do this for a minute. I want to share the screen and just show a few things so people can get familiar with the Bonnie website. So a couple of things you should know. Let me share this now. If you go to BonnieMcLeodmusic.com, you'll see this. And by the way, you'll see these amazing photos. This is Bonnie in her heyday. Look at her. She is a superstar. Just gorgeous.
Many pounds ago.
Oh my God. That's like, who's that famous singer? Sheena
Easton.
Sheena Easton. I think,
yes.
Oh my God, look at those eyes. They still have those eyes. That's great. And if you go to her store, Now, it may not be obvious, but there's a lot of different places where Bonnie is on, on the internet. Thanks to Zane, by the way, who's also on tonight. Thank you,
Dane
Zane.
Kuchera, my
Yeah.
savior. He is
And
amazing.
but this is what I want you to know. This is where you should buy the CD. Now you have to go right on where it says buy CD. But when you go there, you will get to something I never heard of before, kunaki.com. And if you buy her CD here, you'll get the physical CD. And this is the way she makes the most money. I'd like to see artists make money. And if you're just listening to Spotify or you're listening for free on YouTube, that's great too, but that doesn't make Bonnie any money. So she deserves to get money. So I encourage you all to go out.
I like money, money, money,
Go out
money.
and do this. And then, by the way, you could also go to Amazon and just download the MP3s for about $10 or whatever. But it's definitely, this music is wonderful. So we're going to go through some of it tonight. Bonnie, I know that you have about 4 pieces you'd like to play, pretty much in their entirety. And then I'm going to probably play little snippets of other pieces and ask you to comment on them. Or, there's backstories on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
well. Tell me how you play a lot of the American songbook. You are obviously classically trained. I've heard you play classical music too. How do you go about coming up with a song? And maybe, this first song, Utopia, is a wonderful, uplifting song that I think is just like the way the world should be, I guess. But how did you come up with the idea, and how did you come up with the melody, or how do you think about these things? I'd love to hear a little more about that from you.
Well, it's I I think of a lot of pieces, believe it or not, in between the time that I am dreaming and when I wake. You know that time when you're sort of half sleeping and half awake?
That is a very creative time, I understand. Yes.
Yes, and I'll think like a melody will come to me, and it might only be a few notes, and then I will just think of a whole piece, and I don't know, it's just magical. I credit the, not to get all Catholic on you, but I credit the Holy Spirit with, inspiring me. And, and then other times I will hear a cluster of notes in a classical piece, say I'm, on the listening to the radio, and I may hear a cluster of notes, like a chord structure, and I may want to pick that chord apart in my ears, and I don't know. The melody just sort of develops.
Yeah.
I think of it melody wise. I don't think of it, as oh well, I'm going to take this A7 flat 9 chord and develop it into this D major minor 7. I don't think mathematically at all.
Yeah.
It's more like feelings. And also, another way is the way I place my hands on the keys. Sometimes I will just take my hands and hit the keys, like,
And it works.
and just wherever the hands land on the keys, I'll say, okay, I'm gonna make a song out of that.
I love that. Now, so do you often do the melody first and then find the chords that fit under it? Is it a pretty natural process for you, or?
Sometimes I find the chords and then I'll put a melody to it.
Yeah,
It
interesting.
depends,
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's hear some of Utopia, or play all of Utopia then. Let's hear Utopia. Is there a story
Okay.
behind that particular piece that you'd like to share with us?
Just just kind of the culmination of the happiness of life, and you know, the just happiness,
Sure.
you know.
Excellent.
Yeah. So here 'tis.
Here's happiness. Here's to happiness. Just so beautiful, so beautiful. Everyone's muted, but they're all trying to clap. I just love that. One thing I mentioned to you just before the show tonight is that so much of your music is so lyrical. I literally could hear, uh, you know, words in these songs. I just want to sing something to them. And there's some that I've actually started to put words to. So we should definitely get a lyricist to help you with these can become full-blown songs, I think. They're beautiful compositions on their own, of course, but it's like Mendelssohn's Song Without Words. I mean, these are definitely song-like and lyrical, so beautiful.
Well,
So,
anyone is more than welcome to send words. Just send them to my address along with
okay.
a $500 bill, and I'll be happy to
Well,
put
by
the
the way, I
words
do want to
to
find
you.
a way. I noticed you have written all this stuff out. I would love to find a way to get your sheet music and play some of this. And also, anything that you haven't written out, I want to get you to my friends in Britain that can get it all written out for you, because it's just a wonderful legacy. This is
Oh,
beautiful music.
yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Yeah. Now, I know you're going to play some other stuff for us, but I'd like to also interject, because you and I have talked a bit. You have some other beautiful pieces. You just won't be able to play it all tonight, but I wanted to kind of pull some of them up because there's some wonderful. Let me do this. I'll share the sound. And then I know there's a backstory on some of these too. So let me ask you that too. Let me just pull this up now. Let me see. You have one called Camille's Lament.
Yes.
And you just told me this amazing story. Let me first play a little bit of it, and then you can tell us the story about this, because I was just blown away. So this is Camille's Lament. I'm going to play about a minute or two of it.
Okay.
I'm going to stop it there, although I'd just love to hear the whole piece. But tell us now this fascinating story about Camille's Lament. I just thought it was some random Camille that you might have known, but no, this is a really amazing story. So,
Yeah. This really is. This is about Camille Claudel, who was a protege of
Rodin.
Rodin. I was going to
Yeah.
say Renoir. No, it wasn't Renoir. Rodin, who of course was the famous sculptor, and she was his student, and she was an incredible sculptor, and he took her on as his student, and of course they became lovers, and she fell in love with him, and he had a wife, of course, and she wanted him to leave his wife, and of course he didn't. And but what he was doing was he was passing off her sculptures as his, and he, this was supposed to be a big secret, and it was just a horrible situation. And she originally, wanted to, hope that Rodin would help her get ahead in her career, but instead he destroyed her career, and she, in turn, destroyed her own sculptures
Oh
and
my God.
threw them against the wall.
Mm.
She destroyed like 80% of her sculpture,
Ah, yeah.
and she was committed to a mental institution
Oh
by
my God.
her family.
Mm-hmm.
And in the movie, the original French movie, Camille Claudel, she's shown at the end of the movie being taken away, to the funny farm,
Oh boy.
by the men in the white coats in the ambulance,
Mm.
because she had, turned insane, and it's
Mm.
just a terrible waste of a beautiful gift.
Oh my God. I had no idea that story A existed, and B, the movie, and C, just that music is so moving. Now, I encourage people, now that you know the story, go back and listen to that piece in its entirety. It
Yeah,
is very
I
moving and
wanted
amazing.
it. I wanted it to be, haunting and,
Yeah.
sort of, Debussy, Ravel.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of which, tell me more about the composers that you think most influenced you. I definitely hear Debussy in your music, but are there any other particular composers that you just would love to listen to whenever you get a chance, or that influenced you when you were younger or whatever?
Oh gosh, I love um, Rachmaninoff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love the heavy-handedness of Rachmaninoff. If you
Yeah.
listen to my music long enough,
Yeah.
you can tell that I have a very heavy, hand, and
No, I think it's fine. Yeah.
two hands. I have
Yeah.
heavy two hands, and as far as jazz is concerned, McCoy Tyner, I
Yeah. Hmm.
love him,
Oh, wow.
and I also like, well, of course, Bach,
Mm.
Beethoven. Oh my
Hmm.
God, I love Beethoven.
Yeah. And I heard you
Um,
playing some Chopin earlier, so I know you've listened to Chopin.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Andrew, you play the piano incredibly.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You were just playing that A flat etude when I was
Yeah.
coming in.
The Aeolian Etude. Oh my God. What a, that was a year's worth of labor right there.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my
that was
God.
incredible.
Mm.
And you do consulting during the day. You're
Ah, yes. We have to make a
multi
living.
multi-talented.
Thank you so much. But this is all about you tonight, Bonnie. So let's get back to um, now. You had a very telling moment in your life that almost did you in. I mean, you had you were in a major traffic accident that. God love you for surviving, but that really set you back a bit. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what happened there in New York? You were just riding your bicycle,
Yeah,
minding your own business, and next, tell us what happened next.
yeah. Well, it's funny. I moved to New York in '85, and then I was playing in clubs. I was playing in the Rainbow Room.
Mm.
And I had done cruise ships, and I had traveled to, Sweden, and played there, and played in Europe, Italy, and Greece, and all that. And, I got to the point then in 2000 where I wanted to start recording my compositions then.
Mm. Wow.
And one day I was riding my bike because I was a bike enthusiast.
Mm.
I had a Trek bicycle. I had like a top of the line bicycle.
Wow.
I was also much thinner.
Where
Um,
we all are then.
yes, yes. And so, I'd weave in and out of traffic all the time, and I was on the West Side Highway, and they were doing construction on the West Side Highway, and I failed to see that there was a second lane of downtown traffic. So,
Mm.
boom, I crossed, and a car T-boned me, and I flew off the bike, and my head hit the windshield, and I
Oh my God.
fell on the pavement. I broke my leg,
Mm.
and I hurt my back, and blah 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 blah. So
But by the way, the blah blah blah, you broke some vertebrae in your neck too, right? You had some serious
yes,
concussion. Oh my God. Yeah.
yeah, I had a concussion, and
Mm.
I had to have surgery on my neck, and
Oh, jeez.
so that set me back a bit. And my sister
You think?
convinced me. Yeah, my
Yeah.
sister Jean convinced me to come up to Boston to,
Mm.
because the doctors are, much better up here.
Yeah.
So I kind of gave up my New York dream, and my dreams of composing,
Mm.
and I kind of had to start all over again up here after I healed from my accident.
Yeah.
Um, so that's how I got involved in the cabaret scene up here.
Mm-hmm.
And so 20 years later, here I am again, and I'm ready to present my compositions again. So,
I am so glad that you healed and you're back in the running, as they say. So it's so
yes,
good to have you here.
yes,
For the grace of God, you are here to entertain us all with this wonderful music. So
yes.
thank you for that. So you
Uh,
wanted to play Waltz for Jabba next. Do you want to tell us a little bit about who Jabba is? Or
oh,
essentially,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, Jamba is my nickname for Jan. Jan is a girl who was a friend of mine in New York, who I actually met in Boston because I lived in Boston. I'm from Boston originally,
Mm-hmm.
and she was a singer, and I met her at Club Cafe, where I've played, several times, and she performed there. This was like in 1982. I met her, and so we were friends in New York, and she was, like my number one fan. And so when I'm close to someone, I usually write a song for them, and and she loved jazz, and we've since dropped out of touch with each other. I'd love to find out where she is.
Mm.
I'd love to get back in touch with her, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I could play you a little bit of Waltz for Jamba.
Please do. Yes.
Okay, let me just take a swig of my aged Chianti. Oh, no, what wine is
It's
this?
Rufino Chianti Classico Oro, which stands for gold. So it's a
Oh,
you and I are enjoying a nice bottle of wine
oh yes.
tonight.
Hmm. Somehow, the more I drink, the better I sound. Okay, Waltz for Jamba. Oh, let me try that again.
Okay. Brava! So beautiful. So beautiful. Oh my God. Speaking of beautiful, I would like to play now a little bit of one of your pieces that I just told you the other day. What, by the way, what I found is if I go to YouTube in the car, I can have it just play your stuff continuously. It's just awesome. Now, every once in a while, I pump an ad and I have to skip the ad or deal with it, but it's just wonderful to hear your stuff nonstop in the car. I'm just loving it. And I got to hear all these wonderful pieces. And so you have a piece that's called, let's see, what is it now? It's very lyrical. I have it bookmarked here. Where is it? Impromptu. Impromptu in G major. I want to play a little bit of this. I forget what the lyrics were now, but I gave you some lyrics earlier tonight that I just thought of that were just, to me, they were just so obvious. And I don't know if I'll even remember what they were right now, but it's just so beautiful.
Oh, impromptu in G major?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me play some of that right now. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. I shared the wrong thing now. I got to get used to sharing the screen better. Okay, it's right here. Here it is. have to admit, I'm not one to sing songs in the car, but I found myself singing something like, "Whenever you want to see me, I'll be there." It's just like, it just lends itself to some kind of a wonderful lyric. So it's just so beautiful.
Oh, I have such a hangnail.
Well, as you know, was a famous story about what was it, Paul McCartney, when he designed the music for Yesterday, he'd had no lyrics at first, so he was just saying scrambled eggs, scrambled eggs, scrambled eggs. He had no lyrics yet. It was just funny.
Oh,
Oh my God, just so beautiful. So now that melody too is just so wonderful. Haunting is the wrong word for that, but it's just so, I don't know. It just flows so easily off the lips. It just seems to be such a wonderful melody. I mean, how did you come up with that? Did you just find yourself singing it, or what motivated you to come up with that?
I thought of the purity of water, like specifically, um, we, my family and I used to go camping in New Hampshire in the White Mountains, and
Mm.
I think of the water flowing down the mountains in down the Kankamangas Highway, and I think of the trickle of the water and how pure this water was, and um, I just wanted to write a song that was pure and good and bright, um, and something that was spontaneous, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know where these melodies come from. It's divine inspiration, I think.
Yeah, it's just wonderful. Absolutely beautiful melody. Oh my God, love it so much. So you wanted to play for us now something completely different. And in fact, you've written a number of ragtime pieces. My favorite was from the last album that you don't have published, by the way. I think we should post it on YouTube. Maybe Zane, if you're listening, we need to post her prior CD on YouTube. You had one called Charlie Chaplin Rag. This is called Kitty Cat Rag, and it's named after your three kittens that were called what now?
Kukla, Fran, and Ollie.
Cook and Fran. Now, some of you may not know what that is, but that was a famous puppet show back when I was a kid. And Fran is the woman, right? And Kukla and Ollie are the two characters. True?
Yeah, Kukla and Ollie were the puppets, and the backstory just quickly was I used to have this cat. His name was Amadeus,
I love it.
and of course, and so he ended up dying of kidney failure, and I was really sad, and the vet, put him to sleep, and I was sad and whatever, but I went back to the vet practice like 4 weeks later, and I gave the doctor some roses saying, thank you for easing me through this transition,
Mm.
and she took this picture off the wall and showed me this picture of these three little kittens, and she said, I know three kittens who are looking for a mommy.
Yeah.
And I saw them, and I was like, "Oh my God, where are they?" And she said, "Oh my God." She gave me the address. It was in the East. They were in the East Village,
Mm.
and I lived in the West Village, so it was
Mm.
just a hop, skip, and a jump. So
Mm.
um, I went over there. I bought I had a cat carrier, so I just walked over there. I got my cat carrier, and I saw them all, and I said, I'm gonna adopt them all. I'm gonna take them all.
Mm.
And then I I ended up having to go before I went home. I had to go see my analyst, and I had to go uptown to 86th Street.
Mhm.
So in the subway car, I had these kittens mewing, mew, mew, and so there wasn't a whole lot of people in the car, so I let the kittens out, and everybody was coming up and like, oh, look at these kitties, it's so cute.
Oh my God.
So anyway, this is a ragtime piece, and it's very mischievous and
Hmm.
reflective of how they were when they were growing up.
I love it.
Okay. I'm going to start that again.
absolutely love it. So, there's so many elements of wonderfulness in that. I mean, obviously, from all your years of playing American Songbook, you just know instinctively, I think, how to develop a song. You've got about 3 different parts going on there, lots of wonderful transition, a beautiful ending, and it all seems to flow so naturally under your hand. I notice your stride, your left stride is just so automatic. It's just, enviable to see how comfortable you are on the piano. So, absolutely love that. And how, when you went about designing it, did you actually in your mind say, okay, this is the B section, this is the C section, or did it just kind of come together for you? How did that all work out?
Yeah, I mean, I figured I wanted to put certain sections in there and, um, different moods. I imagine the kittens, getting into the cereal box and knocking the cereal box over, and me leaving the coffee cup on on the edge of the table, and
Mm-hmm.
then inching the coffee cup off, and then it's smashing to the floor, and then looking and saying, "Oh, did I do that?" And just getting into mischief and
That is the thing about cats, isn't it? Yes.
yes, I
It's
know.
funny because I love cats. I used to have a couple of kittens, and one time I was moving when I was, younger in my college years. Right after college, I moved to a new place, and unfortunately, I didn't get everything unpacked until 2 in the morning. And back then, water beds were big, so I had a water bed, and I was so tired that I thought I could fill the water bed up and sleep in it while it's filling up and just set the alarm for 3 hours later. So I must have slept through the alarm because I suddenly woke up and it was flooded, of course. But meanwhile, the cats just watched me the whole time. They didn't bark or say, wake up, wake up. In fact, what they did was they thought it was very funny to dig their claws into the into the water bed and have little fountains of water coming out all over the place. They just had a big kick out of that. That is just the difference between a cat. A dog would have, barked and said, wake up, there's something wrong. But no, the cats just stood there. When I woke up, finally looked at me like, you are such an idiot. That's it. I still kept them anyway because I love them so much. But anyway, I'd love to play something for you that you composed for me, for us now. It's just, it was just such a beautiful thing. And I'd love to talk to you a little bit about the names of your pieces. So this one is called November Sky. And what I
Yeah.
love about it is, it actually evokes, for me, November sky is kind of a sad or pensive sky. It's the beginning of the winter. All the fun has kind of left us for a while. And but I don't know, that's what it meant for me. But what did it mean for you? How did you come up with the title? And how did you come up with this composition?
Well, it's funny. I write a lot of poetry, and it's kind of a standing joke in my family that when we want to talk about something depressing, we sort of preface it with, you know, uh, we start making fun of ourselves, and we start saying, "Dark trees, gray skies, horror, terror, horribleness." But I really thought of, you know, how beautiful the fall is, and, the leaves, the rustle of the leaves on the
Mm,
trees, and the rustle of the leaves on the ground, and how, the leaves are going to sleep, and winter is coming, and I wanted to, celebrate the summer going to sleep,
mhm,
and the beginning of a long winter. But it's a time for peace, and it's a time for to get closer to your loved ones.
mm,
It's a time for harvest, and and it is kind of a sad time.
mm.
Um, and the trees do get bare, and it does affect me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I love walking on a fall night. Fall is my favorite time of the year, and
Really? That's interesting.
I
Yeah.
I love. I have a memory of walking in Boston on the brick streets of Back Bay, and smelling um, the smell of like burnt fire and the
Mm.
firewood in the
Fireplace. Yeah.
fireplace,
Sure.
and like burgundy wine,
Oh,
and I just I love that. I love that so much,
that's wonderful. Okay, so let's hear a little bit of November Sky. I may jump into a head a little bit because there's a wonderful uh,
okay.
thing you do in the middle of it, but let's play the beginning here.
Okay.
It pains me to stop this piece. It's just so beautiful, but for the sake of time, I just have to stop it. Oh my God. I mean, I'm sure Debussy would just love to hear this piece. It's just so beautiful. And the way it builds, it's just wonderful. I just, as a composer myself, I totally appreciate what this is and the development of it. It's just so beautiful. So thank you for this, and I just encourage people to listen to the whole album. It's just such a wonderful album. In fact, you have so many songs on this album. It had to be in 2 CDs. So when you
Yes.
buy one CD, and then you have to buy a little bit of another CD or whatever. But just very, 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 very nice. I know we're running out of time, but I hope you will play for us While I Sing the Sun to Sleep, because it's just such a beautiful piece. Talk about Debussy-like and whatever. What's the backstory on this song, While I Sing the Sun to Sleep?
Well, it's really just about, once I was watching a sunset over the ocean in Provincetown, and a heron was flying on the horizon,
Hmm.
and the sun was literally burning the sky. It was so beautiful, and it's just illuminated the sky, and you know, with the purples and the pinks and the blues, and it was just so gorgeous. And I wanted to, the middle part is kind of the, you know, the illumination of light in the sky, and I you know, I imagined the loon singing, you know, as the sun slowly started to set.
Mm.
And so I thought I would write a song about it.
I love it. Okay.
So here it is. Do we have a little past 8? Can we go a little past 8?
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Brava, Bonnie. You know, a lot of people think bravo is thing, but for a woman, it's brava. I learned some Italian. That's all I know. Brava. And if it's multiple people, it's bravi for everybody. So brava, just wonderful. Oh, Bonnie, I got to tell you, this has been a very pleasurable hour for me. I could listen to your music all day, and I actually have been listening to it a lot last week, and just absolutely does not disappoint. It's just so much beautiful nuance to it, and a lot of inner voicing, and a lot of counterpoint, and a lot of wonderful what I call scaffolding underneath, and it's all the way you fill it up just with all this wonderful arpeggios underneath and whatever. But just really beautiful music that any one of these pieces could be, you know, a monumental piece in a movie or something that's just so moving. I'm so moved by this.
Andrew.
And I hope that people listening tonight spread the word. We'll post your video sometime over the weekend probably and let people know. And I hope people point you to the music and download it and buy it. It's just so wonderful. And I'm so blessed to have you in my life and part of this show tonight.
Thank you, Andrew. It was a pleasure. And thank
Oh my
you
God.
so much for having me on the show.
And Bonnie's in the house. I mean, this is so great. Bonnie's in the house tonight.
I'm in the house.
So wonderful. So I'm going to open it to the floor now. If anyone wants to ask any questions before we wrap up, I know it's a little after 8 o'clock. Thank you, Bonnie, for this wonderful performance. I want to ask, I guess I see some friends out there, people I know.
Last piece. The last piece, I just remind me of the Swan.
Swan,
the Carnival of Animals.
Yes.
There was a programmatic music composed.
Yes.
According with that was composed due to a Greek story that the swan is the most beautiful bird, but they only sing the most beautiful song at the end of life.
Mm.
So I didn't know that that was composed based in that story.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Well, geez, I would be in pretty good company if that's the case. I listen a lot to impressionistic music. I love Ravel and Debussy and you know, all that kind of music. I really delve in that.
Mm-hmm.
I really am influenced by that a lot.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a young man, I was still in college at the time, and this is going to be embarrassing because this will date me, but I had $100. I walked into a used record shop and I said, give me a good collection of, you know, music from the beginning to the end. And he gave me, I literally walked away with 66 albums. I'll never forget this. So they were, what, $1.60 a piece or whatever, $1.30 a piece. And I had 66, everything from Baroque all the way to Shostakovich. And it was phenomenal. But the ones I loved the best were the whole Impressionist era, the Ravels, the Debussys. Oh my God. Satie, I just loved all that stuff. And I can hear that in you. I can hear the influence of that very clearly in the music that you write. And the American Songbook too, though. So you have this wonderful facility for just rounding out music with all these just wonderful embellishments that are just so fulfilling. You know, they basically fill up the song into something, a really beautiful production at the end. So you take a haunting melody, but turn it into an ever more powerful piece. So just a wonderful ability that you have, and keep writing, because this is amazing. What you've done over the past 20 months or whatever, it's just fascinating. And I hope you continue to write and bring us this beautiful music. And I hope to see some of this music should be embodied in something like a musical or a movie, or there should be something that goes, this music should go someplace. It's just so amazing. So
yes,
if nothing else, I hope you do write the sheet music for it or get it written, because I'd love to, I think people would love to play it. I know I personally would love to play some of it myself. So, and we have people in the audience that are pianists that I know could do a great job performing some of these pieces as well. So anything else to ask before we wrap up here? You've been so kind, Bonnie, to spend the extra hour. So just wondering if there's any other questions before we wrap up. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to turn it back over to my wonderful wife who runs the show and probably wants to add some ending messages here. So I'll have to swap seats tonight because we've got Bonnie in the house. So, you know.
In the house.
So I want to say hi, Nina. Can you hear me, Nina? Hi, Nina. We miss you. We miss you.
Hi, Jean.
Hi,
Hi, everyone. So glad you're all here this evening. Thank you. Hi, Cindy, Mary. Good to see you guys. Okay, so I just want to, say thank you to everyone at the center. Of course, we, all the people that attend the center. Philip Belts, who's our director, Sue Clark, who's in charge of our transportation, Vicky Druggis, Suzanne Norton, Patty Santos, Kathleen Schneller, who is my right arm as I hold up my left, but she's my right arm there. Colleen Wages, Nick Asario, and of course our new director for the WSA, the manager is Maria Rutnam, if you haven't met her yet. She's wonderful to work with too. So thank you to all of them. And of course the Cummings Foundation and Bonnie, absolute blessing to have you here tonight. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.